Good morning. Today we will discuss about different types of freezing and its effect on food. The effect of freezing on food. So coming to freezing types, there are mainly three types: air freezing, indirect freezing, and direct contact freezing. So air freezing includes sharp freezing and rapid freezing. Indirect freezing means food will be in contact with a cold surface or cold air, that is plate freezers and air blast freezers, etc. So then next one is direct contact freezing, which includes immersion freezing or cryogenic freezing, etc. So these are the different techniques: air blast freezing, plate or block freezing, cryogenic freezing, spiral or belt freezing, fluidized bed freezing, immersion freezing, cartoon freezing or box freezing. So let's discuss about one by one. So first one is we are discussing is by direct immersion, that is freezing by direct immersion. So from the name itself we can understood the liquids are good heat conductors, so food can be frozen rapidly by direct immersion inside a liquid. Maybe it is a brine or sugar solution at low temperature. So examples are berries in sugar solution, and then packed fruit juices and concentrates. So brine will be mainly used for vegetables and sugar solution will be used for the berries, as in case of canning and all. So the refrigeration medium must be edible and capable of remaining unfrozen at minus 18 degrees Celsius and slightly below. So the refrigeration medium is in direct contact. So it should be edible and it is capable of remaining unfrozen, because it should not be frozen at minus 18 degrees Celsius and slightly below. So coming to advantages, here it is a immersion technique. So there will be perfect contact between the refrigerating medium and the product. So it will be the very high heat transfer rate will be there. Then fruits are frozen with a coating of syrup. So it will gives an additional preservation of the color and flavor during the storage. And here the frozen product will be separate. Each food piece will be separate. So it won't be a big solid block and all after immersion also. Then coming to disadvantages, brine is a good refrigerating medium, but for fruits it can be used. It mainly used for vegetables, and to make a syrup, it will be somewhat difficult because of the viscosity at low temperature, and the refrigeration temperature it should be carefully controlled, because at high temperature the medium will enter the product by osmosis, and at low temperature the medium may freeze solid. So the temperature should be controlled properly, and it is very difficult to maintain the medium at a definite concentrate, and also to keep it free from dirt and contamination. So these are the disadvantages. We have to carefully control the temperature. We have to carefully check the status of this refrigeration medium also, and food. So here this is a disadvantage. Coming to next one, that is by indirect contact with the refrigerant, that is indirect freezing. So freezing by contact with the product with a metal surface, which is self-cooled by freezing brine or other refrigerating medium. So it is an old method of freezing in which food or package is kept in contact with the passage through the refrigerant at minus 18 to minus 46 degrees Celsius of the airflow. Okay, air or any refrigeration medium. So this will be the indirect freezing. So next one by air blast, that is air blast freezing. So here we are using the cold air circulation to freeze the product. So freezing done by the placing the foodstuffs on trays or on a belt, which are passed slowly through an insulating tunnel which containing this refrigerated air in it or cool air in it. So the temperature will be minus 18 to minus 34 degrees Celsius or even lower than that. It is economical, and we can use different various size, shape and products in this air blast freezers. So vegetables may be frozen in discrete pieces and usually cooked without thawing, but solid masses of foods such as pureed, squash may be thawed before cooking. Thawing means we are keeping the frozen product in the normal temperature. So if it's a frozen vegetables and all, we can directly use cooking without the thawing, that is without keeping for the long time at the under normal temperature or atmosphere temperature conditions. So in that frozen condition itself we can use in case of vegetables, but in the solid masses, that is pureed, squash and all, it should be thawed then before cooking, then only we can use for the cooking purpose. So these rapid freezing rates can be achieved commercially in different ways. So first one is individual quick frozen, that's IQF, that we will discuss later. Then fluidized bed freezing. The vegetables will be in cold air when they pass through the freezer on a mesh screen, and air will be passing through the vegetables, that is cold air. So it will be like toasting of the vegetables in a cold air atmosphere. So it will be giving a rapid freezing rate. Individual quick frozen means it is also blowing cold air as vegetables passes through a freezer on a belt. So the freezing will be individually given to each pieces of the vegetables. In plate freezing, the packaged vegetables we are placing on a metal surface. The surface will be cooled by this metal surface will be cooled by the refrigerant, and another plate may be placed on the top of the package. So the packaged vegetable will be placing in between two cold plates. So through the conduction the metal surface, from the metal surface, the vegetables will be cooled. So coming to fluidized bed freezing, it is a modification of air blast freezing. The foodstuff is fluidized to form a bed of particles and then frozen. So air is forced upward. So if it is the air velocity is more than the terminal velocity of the product, it will be in suspended condition or fluidized condition. So at that time, from the cold air, the product will be freezing. So if the air is appropriately cooled, the drying can be done quite speedily. So the depth of the bed of the particles varies with the product. So solid food particles of the size of peas and up to strawberries can be frozen with a depth of 1 to 5 inches. So the peas and whole kernel corn are easily fluidized particles, and the bed depth usually is slightly more than 1 inch. Then in other example is green beans or French beans. It is partially fluidizable products, and the depth will be 8 to 10 inches. So based on the product, the depth will be changing. Then advantage, it gives more sufficient heat transfer, that is heat transfer rate will be more, and we will get rapid freezing rate. The extent to which the product gets dehydrated is less, and the defrosting of equipment is required less frequently. Next one is the plate freezing. So food products will be in contact with the two cold surfaces. In between the products will be placing. So it is mainly suitable for packaged food products, and the process is also suitable for unpacked foodstuffs like shrimps, which can be frozen by freeze adhesion to a slowly rotating cold drum. So mainly we are using for the suitable for packaged food products. So fruit juices also can be frozen in cylindrical scraped surface heat exchangers, and this contact plate freezing is quite economical and minimize the problem of dehydration, refrosting of the equipment, and packet bulging after freezing or during the freezing process. Coming to cryogenic freezing, so we can use products like mushrooms, sliced tomatoes, whole strawberries and raspberries for ultra fast freezing. We are direct contact with the cryogens. Thus, cryogenic freezing is defined by the freezing at very low temperature below -60 degrees Celsius. The liquid nitrogen will be in -196 degrees Celsius. So the refrigerant mainly used are liquid nitrogen and liquid carbon dioxide. That is known as cryogens. So that's the name, cryogenic freezing. Next one is the individual freezing. Similar to individual quick blanching, here freezing is done in a ultra rapid mode freezing rate with individually. So the name is individual quick freezing, that is IQF. So the shelf life is around 12 months in a well-maintained post-freezing cold chain. We have to use the cold chain up to the consumer, and the temperature is -13 to -40 degrees Celsius in order to inactivate the microorganisms and to decay, which causes decay and deterioration to the foodstuffs. So here we are extending the shelf life for more than 1 year, and it is a rapid freezing method. So each piece is frozen individually using fluidization technique, and within 10 to 12 minutes, and it will be more fast than compared to blast freezer. Blast freezer will be 3 to 4 hours it is taking. So here the freezing time can be reduced, and it results in better structure, and there won't be any lump or any block formation, and the product will be free flowing. And the system involves the use of blast of cold air, which when directed on the food product quickly freezes them. So the vegetables frozen in an air blast tunnel that is at minus 40 degrees Celsius is rapidly moved around and the product giving it a cryogenic shock and freezing it instantly. So individually the pieces will be frozen uniformly and at a good fast freezing rate. Next comes the dehydrofreezing, where we are doing the freezing is preceded by a partial dehydration. So in some fruits and vegetables there is 50% of moisture will be removed by dehydration. That is, before freezing we will do the dehydration to improve the quality of the food. Then dehydration does not cause any deterioration or and dehydrofrozen foods are relatively more stable. It is on a partial dehydration, not as a full dehydration. Next one is a freeze drying. It's a drying method. Here first the food will be frozen, then it will be dry. So direct sublimation of ice takes place without passing through the intermediate liquid stage. So the freeze drying means the principle is sublimation. So here the food first will be frozen at minus 18 degrees Celsius on trays in a lower chamber of a freeze dryer, and the frozen vegetable will be dried initially at 30 degrees Celsius for 24 hours and then at 20 degrees Celsius under high vacuum in the upper chamber of the freeze dryer. So lower chamber will be the freezing and the upper chamber will be for the drying purpose. So the product will be highly hygroscopic, excellent in taste and flavor and color, and can be reconstituted readily. So mango pulp, orange juice concentrate, passion fruit juice and guava pulp are dehydrated by this method. So these are the examples for freeze drying, and triple point of water also have an important role in this freeze drying. So here there are different terms related to this freezing process. First one is freezer burn, second one is freezing injury and thawing. So the freezer burn is an injury caused by improper freezing process onto the food. So the surface of this freezer burned food will be dry, grainy and brownish spots will be there. So at that spots the chemical changes take place and the tissues become dry and tough. So the dried out grey brown edges or sections of meat, dried sections of baked goods and the dulled coloring in vegetables and fruit all together we will termed as freezer burn. So the loss of moisture from food to storage environment will be happening and caused by sublimation of ice from the surface of the food into the air inside the freezer. So it can affect the quality and the food should be discarded. So it can be minimized by special packaging methods, and if we are doing proper freezing with proper freezing time and all, it can be avoided. And coming to another term, that is freezing injury. It occurs when ice crystals form in the tissues. So the most common symptom is water-soaked appearance. So tissues injured by freezing generally lose rigidity and become mushy upon thawing. So the freezing injury occurs in cold storage system either due to inadequate refrigerator design or to the thermostat failure. So due to the failure operation of proper freezing, this freezing burn and freezing injuries are happening. So the highest temperature at which freezing of a specific commodity it may occur should be used as a guide for recommending the optimum storage temperature. So the severity of freezing injury is influenced by a combination of time and temperature. So whenever we are doing freezing operation, it should be in at the optimum storage temperature of the fruits or vegetables or any horticultural produces. So the another process is thawing. That is, it's requiring longer time than that of the freezing. So freezing, what we are doing, the product we are keeping in the freezer, and the product will become undergoing the freezing process, and the product will be at the lower temperature. And here the outer surface become ice crystals first and followed by the center portion. In thawing means we are keeping this freezed product outside the freezer for removing this ice crystals and all for direct consumption or for the other purpose. So in thawing, what happens means the outer portions first change from solid ice to liquid water, followed by the melting of the center portion. So the water has a lower thermal conductivity and lower thermal diffusivity than the ice and the surface layer of water. So it reduces the rate at which heat is conducted to the frozen food interior. That is known as an insulating effect. That effect can be termed as an insulating effect. Due to this effect, it increases as the layer of thawed food grows, and therefore thawing time is more than the freezing time. So it is a common question why the thawing is taking longer than the freezing. So the major point is the water has the lower thermal conductivity and lower thermal diffusivity than ice, so it reduces the rate of the rate transfer or rate of heat transfer. That's why thawing is require more time than that of the freezing. So in thawing, the outer portion first changes from solid ice to liquid water, followed by the melting of the central portion. So initially the temperature rise is rapid, but it occurs only before much of the outer surface has changed to the liquid state. So the most food remains solid until 23 degrees Fahrenheit. So during thawing, the food passes slowly through the temperature near the melting point, where chemical reactions and recrystallization can occur. Thus, there is more opportunity for the quality of the food to be decreased during thawing than freezing. So as we controlling the temperature and controlling the environmental condition in freezing, similarly we have to take care of the thawing process in order to get good quality product. So the foods are heated immediately to specific temperature, which is sufficient to destroy pathogenic microorganisms, and the contamination by spoilage and pathogenic microorganisms may occur by improper thawing. So to overcome this improper thawing, food is thawed by microwave or dielectric heaters, and the heat is generated within the food. So after taking from the freezer, if we are immediately we are heating to specific temperature, what will happen? The thawing will be improper. So in order to overcome, we can use the microwaves or any other dielectric heater, which will be better option. So heat is generated within the food. So if it is a quick freeze product, the cell wall will be inert after thawing. If it is slow freeze product, the cell wall has been ruptured during the thawing process. So always quick freezing will be better, which is having a small ice crystal. So after thawing also the cell wall will be inert and the texture will be good. Coming to changes during freezing, we mentioned quick freeze product will be rapidly slows down chemical and enzymatic reactions in foods and stop the microbial growth. So when water changes from liquid to ice, there is a 9% increase in volume that is responsible for many of the inferior textural characteristics of the frozen food. So due to the sudden changes of water to ice, there will be increase in volume. That is a one change. And this quick freezing, what happens? It will slow down the chemical and enzymatic reaction in food, and it will be inactivate the microbial growth. Coming to nutritional value after freezing, the nutrients will be retained better in frozen foods and vegetables. So if it's frozen within a few hours of after harvesting, loss can be minimized. The protein, vitamin A and D are unaffected by the freezing process. Coming to enzymatic activity and relation to freezing. So enzymes that cause food spoilage are active, particularly at a high temperature. So that's we are storing these fruits and vegetables in the refrigerator condition. So freezing slows down the enzymatic activity, but don't stop it. So even at 0 degree Fahrenheit, the fruits and vegetables will experience some deterioration process. So to prevent enzymatic activity during freezing is to halt before freezing. So that's why we are doing blanching or steaming prior to freezing in order to inactivate this enzyme activity. So only freezing can't do anything on this enzyme activity. Means to inactivate, we can only stop the enzyme activity. Freezing will stop the enzyme activity, but slows down the enzyme activity. But whenever it is thawing again, it may be active. So we have to do the blanching or steaming before freezing in order to inactivate the enzyme activity. Then we can do the freezing, then the enzyme activity will be stopped. Coming to rancidity, the food if contains more amount of fat, mainly in case of meat, fish, poultry and all. So it will be maybe chance of rancid during the storage of freezing. So it may be happen only with contact with air. So if it is not properly packaged, then it may be contact with air, and then only this rancidity chance will be more. So it will when they exposed to oxygen, the fat will react with the oxygen and it causes the rancid smell. So the animal products mainly should be wrapped in airtight packaging, and the air should be excluded before this wrapping. Then only we will get the shelf life. Then during storage, there are also chemical physical reactions will be there that decrease overall quality, continue even in food stored at 0 degree Fahrenheit. So the losses that occur during a normal storage period usually exceed any damage that occurs to the food during the initial freezing or thawing. There are different changes. First one is physical changes. So fluctuation in temperature, storage temperature, in an increase in the size of ice crystals, so result in the physical damage to the food. So recrystallization means the physical change in which many small ice crystals combine to form a smaller number of large crystals. So already crystallization will be happening. So if it is the fluctuation in storage temperature and all happen means it will be recrystallization. Again it will be crystallization will be happen. So we have to control the temperature fluctuations. The temperature should be in proper control. So the recrystallization can also occur in the early stages of thawing. So and the end result will be decreased quality of products and it spoils ice creams and all. So householders add gelatin and fat cream instead of milk to reduce the recrystallization. So in the added commercially we are adding in order to avoid this recrystallization we are adding large molecular weight compounds such as gums and modified cellulose in ice creams or any other freeze products. Next is physical change is denaturation. This is proteins. Proteins alternations are responsible for a decrease in solubility. It is known as denaturation. So as the ionic concentration increases in freezing through a reduction in water content, the proteins forms bonds with each other instead of water, and insoluble complexes will be formed. So this change, that is protein denaturation, will be changes for the increased toughness of the frozen foods. So coming to chemical changes, the microbial growth will be lowered or stop at a temperature below 28 degree Fahrenheit, that is -2 degrees Celsius, but chemical reactions will be continued even after up to 0 degrees Fahrenheit, that is -18 degrees Celsius also it may be continued. So which includes chemical reaction means lipid oxidation, Maillard and enzymatic browning, flavor deterioration, protein insolubilization and degradation of chlorophyll and vitamins. So the quality changes are the reasons for the frozen food discoloration. So when food is placed in the freezer for storage, the rates of non-enzyme catalyzed reactions decrease as the temperature is lowered to about -2 degrees Celsius. So the off odors that develop in frozen foods cause consumer discoloration. Then volatile compounds can accumulate in tissues. Then off odors may also be a result of lipid oxidation. So in unblanched or underblanched vegetables, enzymes remain active during the freezing process. So it can be leads to more chemical changes. So the color retention in frozen foods is more easily achieved than with the canning. In canning, the color retention won't be there because we are doing the thermal processing. Here we can retain the color of the frozen foods easily. So today we discussed about different types of freezing and what are the different changes of freezing in the food, and about some freezer burn, freezing injury, then thawing process and all. Hope all you understood. Thank you.